Josh's House of Nerd podcast.
Greetings, Nerd Nation. I'm Josh, and I welcome you to the podcast. Grab a cold evergreen goblet of blue eggnog and sit by the Christmas tree and make yourself comfortable listening to something less atrocious and more festive than the Star Wars holiday special here at my House of Nerd. Now for tonight's sponsor, are you sitting at your house cold and wrapped up thinking you need something warm in your belly? Well, Elf Judy has the solution for you with Elf Judy's famous hot chocolate directly from the North Pole. This recipe has taken 1,200 years to perfect. What's the secret? Well, it's served not too hot, extra chocolate, and shaken, not stirred. Elf Judy's famous hot chocolate. It'll make you hot for more. Not a sponsor.
Okay, Santa Claus.
I know.
That was from the movie.
Yeah,
that was from the
watched,
movie,
but
not the Santa Claus we watched. That's what.
Right.
I thought it'd be kind of fun to throw that.
The
one
better
in.
Santa Claus.
The better Santa Claus.
But spoilers.
Oh yeah, well, hold on. Today on the podcast we have John and we have Crit, and we are talking about the amazing, the incredible, the mind-trippy movie that is 1985 Santa Claus, the movie with Dudley Moore. Let's talk about the movie.
Not a comedy. I didn't feel like it was a comedy.
What are you talking about? It was a full-on comedy.
That'd be a little bit of a stretch to call. Oh, it wasn't. Did it have comedic moments?
They were sure.
I laughed maybe
sure
once or twice. I felt like Scrooge afterwards. I'm like, did I just not? Was I in the wrong frame of mind for this movie? Should I get in the Christmas spirit?
You were not in the wrong frame of mind.
Okay, because I felt like a Scrooge. I didn't laugh that often throughout this movie.
So the question I wanted to ask is, Josh, what's the story behind this pick? Like, why'd you add it to your list of 3?
Because I forgot my third one on the list that I had all 3 written out on the pick last week. And there was like a last second where I'd had them all planned out and I had a third one and I forgot what that third one was. And this is the other one that I jokingly said to Juliana when I was picking the third one. And now I wish I'd picked Grumpier Old Men or something like that. Because I love those movies. The Grumpy Old Men movies. The thinking behind this was, hey, this is obscure. I haven't seen it since I was a kid. I liked it when I was a kid a lot.
I could see that.
This is another one of those ones that, like Ice Pirates, that used to rerun on TBS and HBO all the time. When my parents had that, and I thought, okay, hey, I haven't seen this for a long time. I like it. Let's pick it. Boy, was I wrong. I'm sorry. I'm gonna put it out there right now, guys. I wish we had picked something.
That was a tough. I will admit that was a tough watch.
It was a hard one.
This was not as good as I remember by a long shot.
I was actively trying to put my phone down. Like I was just like, I should watch this movie because we're going to talk about it, and I want to be able to say something. And I was just constantly trying to itching to reach over and pick up my phone and scroll through whatever.
I debated just looking it up on Wikipedia and being like, I watched it. Yeah, it was great.
I was going to tell you guys first up, right from the start, that I am sorry that I watched this one, because I got done watching it this afternoon and I walked up there to my wife right after I watched it, and I went, they are going to kill me on this movie. I remember this movie being so much better, so much more fun, so much funnier than it was before. And I watch it now, and I was exactly the same mind frame as you guys were of, wow, this movie does not age well at all. I mean, I cannot believe that I used to think this movie was incredible. I think the part that I would key in on a lot when I was a kid was that part in the end where Dudley Moore would turn was turning those candy canes into like fly, things that make people fly, and stuff like that. And, to most kids, that might be a fun thing. Maybe that's why I did like it. And that, they would blow up if they got hot, and I think that's what kind of pulled me to it when I was a kid. And now I'm looking at it going, why? Why did I like this? And stuff.
Well, I've set myself a challenge. I'm going to try to say only good things about this movie because that makes it more difficult.
Wow, that is a challenge.
I will step away from that challenge. You are a better man than I am.
Oh, that's what I said. The first one challenge.
I'll just be the opposite. I'll just
Yeah.
be the opposite.
All right, angel and devil.
Yeah.
So, I mean, are there things that are... Here's the thing with this movie that I find kind of interesting. It starts out a different movie and ends a totally different movie, in my opinion. It starts out like this like really like, you know, normal tale that you'd see in like a Hallmark movie of the tale
kind of an origin story.
Origin
like
story
a
of Santa Claus.
superhero origin story for Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole freezing to death in the first 5 minutes. I was like, I guess I'm explaining mortality today to my 5-year-old.
Did you end up watching it with him?
I did. And it was totally appropriate.
It was totally safe. It'd been that long since
other than the freezing to death. He's like, did they just die?
No, went to sleep for a little while and woke up to elves. It was okay.
Yeah. They didn't like sit him in suspense for a super long amount of time, but it was definitely a question that I had to field. I'm like, just watch. I'm like, please. If I have to watch this, so do you.
So what was his impression of this? Could you tell what he was thinking on this movie, John?
Kind of. I think he didn't grasp all of it. He didn't follow the plot. Like the first bit, the whole origin story and Santa in the workshop and they're singing and they're doing all these stuff. Like that was kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Then once it got to like John Lithgow and that whole, Patch going off on his own, I think Ian was more like, okay, not really following what's going on, and the singing and the cool stuff has kind of stopped. So what's going on? And he got a little bored.
Oh, and I can see that definitely. Because that's the thing that I think, that's why I say I think it's almost two movies we're talking about here. Because that beginning part was like, I could see how that would suck a kid in. Hey, it's the toy shop, and hey, it's Santa Claus, and all this stuff. And then like, this elf kind of rebels a little bit, I guess, and goes out into the world. That's like, kids don't give a crap about that. It's like the whole story kind of veered at that point and turned into something different. It was almost like a I'm going to show you movie from that point,
I thought the North Pole sets were pretty well done.
Yeah, I agree.
Kind of elaborate and, I mean, the things that people had to do before CGI, I mean, for major usage of CGI, it's like, yeah, those kind of old school sets and stuff like that were kind of neat.
It looked like it was very big and it was elaborate to the point where they thought this was going to do better than it did.
How well did it do? Do we know?
I do. It did 20 million. It's like 21 million. I have it on a page right here. I think it's somewhere in the neighborhood of like 20 million on a 25 million on a $30 million budget.
And I could totally see myself, especially when I was a young kid, really liking the reindeer, the animatronic puppeted reindeer and stuff like that. They had some cute interactions.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay, so it was, I found it exact numbers here. The film lost millions, making just 24 million from a budget of $30 to $50 million.
Gotcha.
Yeah, pretty awful. It was definitely a flop at the beginning.
Yeah.
Even though apparently this says it's got a cult following. I'm not sure why.
Well, I mean, the version I watched was called the 25th anniversary version. Like they released it. So
yeah. The parts about the reindeer that really, it really felt reminiscent a little bit of the Santa Claus with Tim Allen in the way that they did some of the reindeer in that movie.
Or that, because that was much later. So
it was.
It's like they looked at this movie and was like, oh, we can do that.
Did you feel like the reindeer were animatronic in this one? Because I know in the Santa
Claus,
Claus,
were puppets.
They were.
Well, I mean, not the full-on shots of them pulling the sleigh or,
Mhm.
or pulling the sleigh in the physical snow. Like, I don't know about the flying ones, but every time they had a close-up shot of the actual faces, yeah, of course they're puppets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because like in the Santa Claus of Tim Allen, they're full on puppets.
Yeah.
So this is maybe a statement that's out there, but would we have Tim Allen's Santa Claus without Dudley Moore's Santa Claus the movie?
Probably not, or at least not in the form that it took.
You can definitely see riffs of this movie in that movie,
Yeah,
but done in a better way.
Yeah, done in a more modern way.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think we. I don't think we would, or like you said, Crit. I think it would be a different. It would be along the lines, but I don't think it would be exactly the way it is.
I mean, the idea that Tim Allen at his height wouldn't have done a Christmas movie like he'd have done a Christmas movie. It's just it wouldn't have taken the form of, Santa Claus the movie, inspired version.
Did you know that in this movie that they have Tim Allen for the older one, but in this one actually they had offered this role as Santa Claus to Harrison Ford and Dustin Hoffman and quite a few actors, and they all went, "Yeah, no, I'm good, and stuff like that." Did you notice who the Santa Claus was though?
Oh, I didn't recognize him at all.
Apparently he's the Big Lebowski and stuff. That's what it says here. He is the Big Lebowski from the Big Lebowski movie.
He's David Huddleston.
Yeah.
He's in Blazing Saddles too.
Is he?
And the producers.
Okay. So he's like
he plays the judge in the producers.
Is that right? Okay. I had no idea who he was.
Should do.
What's that?
The producers. That's another good one.
My kids are gonna really want us to do a musical one.
Poor Crit.
I'll get over it. I can find something.
I told him that if we did, they said that they might want to make a cameo if we do a musical one. I said, okay.
Oh, that'd be good.
Yeah. So I told him I'd break out the other mic and get them going on the musical ones because they're very much into that right now. But anyway, yeah, I was kind of surprised. Are you guys much fans of Dudley Moore? I
think he's okay. I'm not necessarily like it's a Dudley Moore movie, I might like this. He's not that type of actor for me.
I think he's way before my time.
Mm-hmm.
And
you guys are
because of that, I don't think I ever watched anything really with him in it.
I mean, I knew who he was before this movie, and I think he does fine in this movie. I think him and Lithgow kind of carry the scenes that they're in.
Yeah,
for sure. Like they're the talent that's there. That definitely works better than probably the rest of the actors, especially the child actors in the movie. I was supposed to say good things only. You got me. One demerit. I'll keep going.
We broke you already.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But yeah, I think they did fine as far as like with the material. I mean, Lithgow knew exactly what type of movie he was in because he hams it up like crazy. He's just good.
Where I everything I see him in, I just love him in. Whether he's doing comedy or he's playing the bad guy, I think he does good in what he does all the time.
Yeah.
And stuff, but
so are you a Dudley Moore fan?
I am. I have been for a while. Again, early days, HBO. They would play Arthur and Arthur 2 on HBO all the time, and I would watch Arthur with Liza Minnelli, and I think he is hilarious when he's in his element. I didn't think this was his element. I'm actually surprised that he did something like this because the movies that he normally does are usually more of a adult in content. They're usually about more like he's a millionaire who likes to sleep around with women in Arthur. It's along those kind of lines that usually the movies he likes playing. But that's kind of the genre that he fell into. But he works in that, and then when he would break out into movies like this, he just felt it would make him feel so out of place, even though he is a very funny movie in his own, or very funny actor in his own respect. His comedy is a little bit more subtle. It's a little bit more along the lines of because he's British, along the lines of kind of British humor. And when he's doing it and he's in his element, he is really good in my opinion. But when he's something like this, it's really hard to watch in my opinion. Even though he did carry, like you said, the scenes, he's a good actor. I wouldn't say he's like the most spectacular ever, but he's good. And you could see that he's good in this movie with what he had.
Yeah.
But he was never in anything that was, kind of blew my mind other than like these kind of like medium level comedies and stuff. And I think he was trying to break out with stuff like this into other genres, and it just didn't get there for what he was doing. And he still got kind of stuck in those kind of Arthur-like movies and stuff. But what would you say was like your best, like if you had to pick a part, what would be your favorite part of this movie? Is there any?
John, how about you go first?
I would just.
Crit's got to think about it more.
I've set myself a challenge right now, and I'm trying to think of it. So
I know, and I'm trying to net you in.
The one part that made me fall over, kind of, just because it was such a ham job, was when Cornelia, the little girl, comes into the room to meet her uncle, and her uncle turns out to be John Lithgow, and I'm just like. They do like the whole, he swivels the chair and the camera zooms in as he laughs. I'm just like, are you freaking kidding me right now? This is it just hammed it up the wazoo. So it was probably the one scene that stuck out to me.
His laugh sticks out to me so hardcore in this whole movie. Like every time he's out there, his cackle is pretty, sticks in your mind a lot. And I would agree, and I love that scene you just poked out, or you just talked about. That it's almost like they were like you had no idea that her uncle, like it was like such a surprise that it was John Lithgow, the only other character really that they actually showed in this movie. Oh boy!
Yeah, it was such a poorly kept secret by the time it happened.
Oh,
you're like,
so bad. And stuff, but that's okay. I mean, that was, I would say that is a memorable moment. Anytime that John Lithgow's on there and he's cackling about something, that's not bad. Crit,
yeah.
Do you have a spot?
I don't know. I thought, well, this, I think when the reindeer covered its own eyes with its ears was kind of funny. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I agree. I think when they were at the North Pole and they were dealing with the reindeers and all that stuff, it wasn't funny or it wasn't anything, but it was okay.
It was Christmassy and wholesome.
There you go.
Yeah,
like a Hallmark movie. Really, that first part really makes me feel like that because a lot of Hallmark movies they show that, the toy shop and all that stuff, them and the elves working away and. That was just like almost like a stock shot almost of any Hallmark movie you can think of. Now, the one thing I thought was really strange though, and I'm not sure why they went this way, was the whole candy cane thing. That, why is my question. I mean, it's just not a good idea. You would think that they could have thought of something a little bit better than, candy canes or something like that they could fight, or I don't know. I know they were trying to come up with somehow to how to introduce an antagonist and all that stuff. I just think the whole execution of that was just super poor. And having some kind of vehicle for him to like kind of try to screw things up, which kind of gave me vibes of like Halloween 3 with the masks and putting masks on the kids' heads and then melting their heads. With the masks, yeah.
Right.
I don't know why.
Because these films are very similar.
I'm glad you recognize that, John.
It's at least the second time, if not the third time, you've mentioned a segue into Halloween 3. And I'm like, I think you compare everything to Halloween 3 now. Like, that's just headcanon in your head.
Everything I've learned in my life is from Halloween 3 season of the
That
Witch.
explains a lot. Okay. Explains a lot.
Have we already talked this one to death?
Man,
I don't really have
I
anything
want
else.
to say yes because I don't have anything else.
I genuinely thought there was more here. And, I wanted to pick something that was kind of odd, but at the same time,
But you didn't have a choice in what we picked. You just added it to the list.
I know it. 2 good ones and 1 bad one, I guess. I guess that's not too bad. And every once in a while, you're going to pick that bad one. But again, I really didn't remember if it was how good or bad it was, too. So I was kind of rolling the dice also. So, anywho, let's go to the ratings of this movie then. I will start out. I'm going to give this a 5 out of 10 exploding candy canes of doom.
All right.
And I would not buy this movie.
Right down the middle of the road for you. It's not good. It's not bad.
I know. I should have gone worse. I should have really did.
Okay.
But there was parts of this movie I did like. I did like the beginning a little bit, even though it's not funny. It's kind of like you were saying, just a basic Santa Claus movie. It's the end part that just really takes it out for me.
Gotcha. So I would never watch this with my mom because I'll never watch it again.
Fair enough.
Mom, we're not watching that movie. I don't care if you want to. No.
Yeah, even if she wants to, she's on her own. I am not watching it.
You're just like, how about Jingle All the Way?
Yeah, let's do Jingle All the Way again. Sinbad. We could talk more about Sinbad.
I am never going to watch this movie again either, dude. I just, as an adult now, remember the nostalgia's gone. It's just gone.
Yeah.
All right, great. What's up with you, man?
And mine is 6 out of 15 broken toys on Christmas.
This machine worked so well in theory. I mean, look at all the nuts and bolts that they were screwing into these wooden toys. I'm like, that's going to hold together. Not.
It's called quality control, man.
There's no quality control.
Well, that and I want to know how they're like that system was insane because they just lay the stuff haphazardly on the belt, and then all of a sudden everything's lined up correctly on the other side. Like they got baby elf children in there lining things up.
It's mad AI, dude. I mean, it's just like the sickest AI that you can think of. You just can't see it because it's in a gingerbread house.
Right.
That's just the part they weren't showing you.
Indentured elf children. I'm sticking with that.
That's what, it's really funny. It's one of the things I pulled up of facts about the Santa Claus, the movie, wasn't it fun how they showed they showed why can't I think of the North Pole? Gosh dang it, I'm too tired. And how they showed all the indentured workers there.
Yeah.
I'm just like, thank you, website.
Well, yeah, it's interesting that all the kids in the 80s liked wooden toys. I don't know. I mean,
and babies that wet themselves still. I mean, those still exist, but still, they're like definitely not the hottest in town.
I mean, if I remember correctly, the hot toys from I was born in that time were like He-Man and Transformers and stuff like that. It was not wooden toys and
Atari
carved bears and stuff like that. Oh yeah, well, and then Nintendo came out later on in the decade. So
by that time they would have had Nintendo, man.
85? Yeah, I guess you're right.
5 Nintendo came out,
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, but okay, that wooden wagon that had the handle fall off, that one was really funny, by the way. That made me laugh. I'm like, that's gonna happen every single time handle falls off, truck runs over it.
In the middle of your living room, suddenly there's a bus in your living room.
Or that dad that's like pushing his kid down the thing and all the wheels fall off all of a sudden just at the exact same time on cue. I mean,
I want to know how the parents got returns, because the next statement was, we've got returns. We've never had returns. I'm like, wait, how do they
where are they going to get these returns set up?
Do the elves have an RMA system? How do they do that?
That is the most magical RMA system I've ever seen. I'm going to go with it's like the letter, dude, where she just wrote it and then all of a sudden just magically disappeared.
Yeah, it has to be.
I mean, that's the way it always is in movies. Hello.
This is definitely a soft magic system.
Oh my
Okay, Brandon
goodness.
Sanderson.
At least you understand that comment. I mean, I do too, but for all you out there.
No, I've listened to a lot of his lectures. So.
Three out of 50 people that listen to this will get it.
Are you sure it's that high?
And and if you're one of those, please explain in the comments to everybody else.
Please.
Yeah. Because we're not doing show notes. We don't do show notes.
Yeah, we don't do show notes.
All of you 48 listeners out there, woo! Show us what it is and stuff because we don't want to.
Okay. Well,
all right, John.
Are we ready to move on?
Crit.
Yeah.
What is your 3 picks for this genre of Christmas comedy movies?
All right.
For next week.
First one coming up. Being punched shouldn't be the thing that causes Christmas cheer.
Ooh.
Number 2. This town wasn't meant for these types of songs. Number 3. The worst person in the situation is still more functional than this family.
I like number 2. This place wasn't meant for the songs.
I'm good with that. That one enticed me as well, John.
Mainly because it's saying songs. I'm hoping they're songs. No, not mainly, but it's also good.
I was going with either 2 or 3, so 2's great for me.
Going for 2? All right.
Yep.
So, number 1, being punched shouldn't be the thing that causes Christmas cheer is Scrooged.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Okay.
Yep. Number 3.
I always like me some Bill Murray.
Yeah. The worst person in the situation is still more functional than this family is the ref.
Never seen it.
Dennis Leary as a thief who breaks into the home of Judy Davis and Kevin Spacey. And then he basically he gets caught in there and he has to, they're just constantly bickering and dysfunctional. And he basically has to help them get in the Christmas spirit, even though he's trying to rob from them and also avoid the police. It's actually really funny.
I've never seen that one either. Interesting.
Yeah.
I know of it though, but I've just never seen it.
And the one you picked, This Town Wasn't Meant for These Types of Songs, A Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh, nice.
Oh, really?
Yeah, really.
That's awesome. My daughter loves that movie. It's honestly her favorite movie, dude.
It's a great movie.
She
Even
watched
though
it 2
it has
days
singing
ago.
in it.
What's that?
I can kind of take it I can kind of take a semi-musical when it's in stop motion animation form.
Yeah, I think there'll be a lot to talk about with this movie.
Yeah.
That movie is fantastic. I'm excited. I might even have to have a special guest with me with that one.
Okay.
Anyway, I am excited for that one because that one is actually, I've only seen it all the way through one time, and that's been a long time, even though it's my daughter's favorite movie. She always likes the Jack the Pumpkin King.
Yep.
Well, guys, all I can say is it was a good week for movie talk. Good stuff. To all you out there, if you want to give Christmas or Santa Claus the movie a try, good luck. We're all counting on you. And to everybody listening out there, may you be excellent to each other and live long and prosper from all of us here at Josh's House of Nerd. Good night and happy holidays.
Thanks for watching. For more nerdy awesomeness, please like and subscribe and check out our other nerdy videos.